This is our long-lasting eyeshadow when birds are singing. It comes in either a pearlized or a matte or a duo. And for these purposes, we're going to use the duo and we're going to use the pearlized. What's so special about when birds are singing is the texture. It's incredibly smooth, incredibly soft, and as you can see, very little gives the most perfect application. You can use it a number of ways. Apply it dry, you've got 8 hours crease-proof wear. If you use it wet, you'll extend that wear to 10 hours. And it can be applied with the Aqua Primer, Prelude to the Clouds, for 10 or even 12 hours crease-proof wear. Most eyeshadows, if you constantly apply with your fingertip, you'll find that the texture of the eyeshadow will take on the oil from your fingers and will become hardened and discoloured. And you certainly can't use most eyeshadows wet. With the Rouge Bunny Rouge, when birds are singing, you can use them wet, you can use them with the Aqua Primer, and you will still always have that perfect finish powder eyeshadow. We're going to start using the large shader, and I'm going to use the lightest of our shades, which is Alabaster Starling. And this is an almost silver white flesh tone. And we're going to brush this over the entire eye area, right up and into the brows, over the entire eyelid, out to the corner of the brow, and here even in the corner of the eye. We want a dramatic look. This is a nighttime look. We want it to be smoky, but we also want it to be radiant and iridescent. And the secret of a smoky eye isn't just to use dark colours, but to use light colours as well first, to give an added dimension to the eye so that it doesn't look too flat and too dark. There always needs to be radiance even with smokiness. We're going to come back to the Alabaster Starling later, and we're going to put it on the inner corner under the eye to really open the eye out. I'm going to use the darker brown from the eyeshadow duo to start adding depth and start adding the smokiness to the eye. And for this, because I want to be quite precise, I'm going to use our sponge applicator. It's actually foam rubber, so it's very, very soft and gentle on the skin. And this we're going to put into the crease, and from the crease right the way down the centre of the eye, working over the entire outer eyelid. Not worrying too much about blending because we're going to blend later using our special shading brush. Now these eyeshadows are also treatment. They help to strengthen the skin's natural defences and strengthen the skin's natural barrier against damage from UV rays, from pollution. So as well as being incredibly long-lasting, they're also real treatment. Now we're going to add a little warmth, and for this we're going to use the mini shader, and it's a copper-toned warm shade that we're going to apply to the, close please, inner corner of the eye. This is Veiled Lyrebird. The beauty of these brushes is they're so soft they won't flick powder eyeshadow onto the cheeks, which is a problem you find so much, particularly if you're using a cheaper brush. One of the reasons that people describe the eyeshadow, in fact customers have described it for us as being creamy like butter. It's so important to have a powder eyeshadow that has got a soft texture rather than a harsh texture. A, because harsh texture feels horrid when you put it on, but also because a harder texture eyeshadow simply won't blend. I mean, you can see as I'm blending here, it's like working with a cream, but it's a powder so it won't crease. So there we've got the makings of a natural eye. Now we're going to start making it smoky and start making it a little bit darker. So I'm going to go for Bejeweled Skylark, which is our darkest brown, and we're going to use this on the outer corner of the eyelid, making sure that we've got it really, really close to the lashes to really enhance the smoky look. When you do this, pull your eyebrow up so you can be sure to get the eyeshadow really close to the lashes, and then blend it upwards and outwards. We're going to use the shading brush again in a moment just to soften this look, but for a really dark, sultry eye, the secret is to get it as close to the lashes as possible. And again, don't worry too much about blending at this stage because you're going to blend in a minute with the shading brush. So again, pulling the eyebrow right up to get that colour as close to the lash as possible, and then shading upwards and outwards so that we're completely filling in that outer corner of the eye. It's kind of a cat eye look. Then we're going to take the Bejeweled Skylark right under the eyes. Can you look right up? And the other reason that it's so important to have a creamy texture with a powder eyeshadow rather than, say, a drier texture is that it's not going to flake off and fly and get in the eye. Look right up, please, and close. Making sure those lines are completely joined up. So we'll just soften and smudge with our special shading brush. We call it the crease brush, but as you can see it's got lovely long fibres so that you can really get into the crease and really blend and soften. These particular ones are pony hair, and it means that we're not hurting any animal by using them because of course ponies are clipped in winter anyway as a natural course. They're actually taken from the underside of the mane, but of course being a natural hair it means they're incredibly soft on the skin. And they hold the product really well. Now I mentioned earlier that we're going to finish off with a little of the Alabaster Starling, which is our very palest shade. So I've come back to the mini shader and we're just going to put this, look right up please, on the innermost corner of the eye, under the eye and around the eye to really open the eye up. And again, because the texture here is so soft and so creamy, it's not going to go in the eye, and even a contact lens wearer, even someone with sensitive eyes, can use it. One other trick with the When Birds Are Singing long-lasting eyeshadow is that they can be applied dry to give a very beautiful, soft application, which as we've said is going to last for 8 hours without creasing on the skin. If however we take a little of the aqua primer and we apply it to the eyeshadow, and as I've said earlier it's not going to damage the eyeshadow at all, we're going to end up with a much more intense, much richer look, adding to the treatment benefits of the eyeshadow and enhancing its wear from 8 to 10, maybe even 12 hours. And they can also be used as liquid liners. Take a little water, take whichever colour you want to use as an eyeliner and mix it to a liner. And again, you can see how the fluid doesn't damage the integrity of the eyeshadow at all. And here we have instant eyeliner in any shade. So whether it's the black Volcano Fairy Wren, and of course the more colour that we add, the richer and the darker we're going to make that look. So it can be a fine through to a really dynamic line.